Okay, we are here and we are live. I will go ahead and post this stream real quick. Let me just do that. Wait, hold on. Turn this off just a sec while I do that. Share this to Discord. All right. Looks fine. Make sure I'm ready. And yeah. Okay. So we're doing the rares this time. Just going to do them the same way that I've been doing the other ones. I did the mythics and masterpieces so far. And there are, I believe, 60 something rares to get through. So I might be here a little while. So in that case, let's just get into it. Yeah, I forgot to redo the sizing on these guys, but that's fine. Creekwood Liege, creature horror. While this creature is on the battlefield, your black creatures get +2/+2. Your green creatures get +2/+2. Beginning of each player's turn, create a worm token. I mean, I guess the best use for this guy is going to be the token creation. Hey, what's up, Kilroy? Let me know if you can hear me. Actually, if you can't hear me, you would let me know. But it should be going fine as far as that goes. But yeah, this one's just kind of pretty meat and potatoes, kind of vanilla card. I like that it creates a worm token, but I can't see this being a anything somebody really wants to chase and or build around. So it's a master and forget for me personally. All right. Do this resizing on the fly here. Sounds all good. Great. All right. Favor of the Over being target creature, 9 mana spell card aura. Target creature gets +4/+4. If that creature is green, it gains vigilance. If that creature is blue, it gains flying. Giving a green creature vigilance can be relevant, maybe. If we had more tricolor creatures in standard right now, this would be a more useful card. It's an aura, and I know there's a was it Ureni or no? What was his name from Wilds of Eldraine that cares about auras in your graveyard, and so maybe you might find a use there. But I think right now it's just going to be kind of a rare use card. I think it could be better if more stuff comes out to synergize with them. So I'm doing this. Gotta do this really annoyingly on the fly, but that's okay. Let's just make sure everything's still looking good. All right. Let's keep going here. Resize so I could see it better. Inspired Sprite. 12 mana, 2/2 fairy wizard. At the end of your turn, discard a card without mana from your hand and draw 2 cards. That's not bad. When you cast a wizard card, gain 4 mana. This effect can trigger up to 3 times per turn. So, I mean, this would be a very cool wizard class card, but that is not in standard. So, yeah, Uriel. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Oh yeah, Calyx with auras. Yeah, I only like the red white aura. Okay, I'll take a look at that. It's probably some good effects. Yeah, I don't know. This one's going to be very situational. I do like the draw at the end of your turn. So I think this might be just a rare use card. Could help with like Steam Core Scholar, for example. A couple little synergies there. If you don't have better draw cards, it can serve you well there. But yeah, I think that's just going to be a rare use, and that's maybe being generous. I haven't really looked at what wizard cards we want to play in standard either, so maybe there's more to it. Okay, Needle Spectre. It's got Wither. It's a 1/1 for 9 mana. When this creature deals combat damage to your opponent's planeswalker, your opponent discards a card, you draw a card, and you gain 2 life. I actually really like this creature. I've been using it in my discard decks. I have an Ashling deck that's leaning into discard. So this is one of the creatures I put into that deck. And the great thing about it is that your opponent discards the first card in their hand, along with draw for black and a little bit of life gain for whatever for whatever 2 life is worth. But it's a solid little creature. I like running creatures that can discard. So that can continuously discard. So that one actually would make the cut in some of my decks there. So putting in the solid tier. If it wasn't the first card in your hand, then yeah, it would be a master and forget. Just to be clear. Oops. Grab that. All right. Thunderblast. 14 mana, 7/2 elemental with persist, haste, and trample. So that's pretty good. When this creature attacks, deal 2 damage to the first opposing creature. I think depending on what tier you're in and what sort of battles you're facing, this can be more relevant. In Platinum, 2 damage to the first opposing creature is probably not going to do much, especially if it's a Sap Sunin or something. But in other situations, this might actually be decent. But it is a 7/2 with haste and trample, so we like that. So I think this is a functional card. It doesn't necessarily hurt to deal damage to a Sap Sunin like it would a Phyrexian Vindicator. So I don't see the harm in running it even there. But I just know that it's going to get more use when you're not running into a Sap Sunin or something like that. Okay, Wake Thrasher, Merfolk Soldier, 15 mana, 1/1. Being returned, this creature gets +X/+X. X is equal to the number of creatures in play. Okay, so at the very least, it's beginning at a 2/2, or your next turn is a 2/2, which is kind of terrible. So you usually don't want your opponent running a bunch of creatures. So let's just say that you're just running your 3 creatures. So it's a +3 every turn. For 15 mana at 1/1 start off, I don't know. I don't think it's very efficient. I think there are much better ways to get, even in blue, stronger creatures. So I see this one as a master and forget. By the way, if you guys ever have any arguments against what I'm saying here, feel free to put them in the chats, because I'm obviously not going to think of everything. Okay, Mercfiend Liege, 18 mana for blue, green, 4/4 horror. While this creature on their battlefield, your green creature get +2/+2. Okay, your blue gets plus. So this once it's actually on the battlefield, it's basically an 8/8. At the beginning of turn, reinforce your green and blue creatures until end of turn. Actually, there are some things that like to be reinforced, and there are things that like to lose reinforcements. So I have to look and see again what's in standard as far as that goes. But losing a reinforcement, that could be good. Oh, this could synergize well with Ashling from the last set, the one that gains you 10 mana when it's reinforced. Yeah, there are a couple other things that when they're reinforced green and blue, yeah, I think there's actually some good use for this guy. Um, Plus he's an 8/8 once he's on the board. So put this guy in functional. I gotta look to see exactly what I could do with that guy, but I can think off the top of my head. There's a couple ideas for you there. Okay, don't get caught staring at your phone when your niece scores a run there. Um, Sensation Gorger, 10 mana, 2/2 Goblin Shaman. Kinship Goblin, draw up to 3 cards. Those cards gain 3 mana. That's pretty good, right? Gaining 3 cards in red and putting mana into them for casting a Goblin. Yeah, that's a solid little card there, I would say. Right? Any objections? For red, especially a mono red, where you want a lot of draw. Well, you want more draw than you think. uh, yeah, that's you cast a goblin card, you like cast another one of them. It would go off as well, right? I think that's a cool card. You guys don't believe me? Play mono red without any draw, without any added draw, and see how well you do. Fiery Bombardment, 10 mana, 2 shields, but it has chroma red. Okay, when a creature dies, deal X damage to target creature or planeswalker. X is equal to your chroma red. This effect can trigger up to 2 times per turn. So this is one you want to combine with cards that I don't know, like imminent. No, like not imminent death. No, I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess you could imminent death yourself. Um, so you destroy a bunch of your opponent's creatures, and that's fine. Um, I think this is an okay card in for like longer battles and battles where you're facing a lot of removal and you're kind of punishing them for removal or for destroying your creatures. Or you can throw in those Mardu warriors that die at the end of your turn, and that can help as well. I think this is like kind of a more convoluted version of something like what's that Phyrexian Forge, the one that creates those little Phyrexian guys that die at the end of your turn. It's not as good a card as that one. I don't know. Is this Master and Forget or rare use? I think this is more rare use. I think for longer battles, like a Quintorius Canned, maybe somebody might find use for it there. I'm gonna put it there. I could be wrong about that. Is that too generous? I think it's okay. All right, Crackleburr. Creature Elemental. 15 mana. Let me just make sure everything's streaming okay. Yep. All right. Activate 3 red. Deal 5 damage to random opposing target. Okay. That's not bad. Activate 3 blue. Drain 5 mana from the last card that adds mana for your opponent's hand. Actually, this is a pretty good card. Damn. Its only weakness is that it's only a 2/2. But it's kind of a fun, what do you call it? It's kind of fun art. This weird fox in the sky. But those are some pretty decent effects there. Yeah, I think this is a solid one. I think because it's only a 2/2, I can't make it meta. But if you run that guy, I think you'll get a pretty good amount of use out of him. So I just don't think he's like going to make it into everyone's decks, but I do think that is a good card. It's like teetering on the edge of being meta for me. Lightning Crafter, Goblin Shaman. It's a Goblin Leader. Okay, it's a 3/3, so it's making your goblins are 1/1, right? So it's making your 1/1s into 3/3s. All right. You're not too late. I've done like 1/5 of the cards already. 10, 1/6. Okay. Active. So I think I'm gonna be here for a while. And how long have I been going? I don't think I've been going that long, have I? 15 minutes? Yeah, no, you're not late at all. This is probably going to go for another at least hour and a half. Activate 2, deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Then if you control 2 or more goblin creatures, deal 3 damage to your opponent's planeswalker. Yeah, I don't hate that. You can damage one of your own creatures if you need to. It's a goblin leader, so it goes well with like Kranko. I think he's functional. Maybe rare use just because goblin decks aren't really much of a thing even now. So I think he's a good card in certain decks, but you have to be running those very certain specific decks. So it makes me think it's a decent card, but it's just only decent in very specific circumstances. Layering Emblem. This is one I did pull recently. 8 mana, 3 shield, support card, artifact, equipment. Okay. And then Prowess. Your first creature gets +2/+2 until the beginning of your next turn. You know what made this card really cool, but probably OP, is if they got rid of until the beginning of your next turn. Because there are very strong artifacts in Standard that even make that sound like it's kind of child's play. For example, Tarion Soul Cleaver. That thing is nuts. And so I think to match that power level, they could have easily just taken out that last little bit. But it's still, Prowess is not too difficult to trigger. So especially if you're running a spell heavy deck or anything like that, and you start a looping deck, Prowess is a cool effect there. So it's a functional card. I think it's better than Master and Forget, though. If you do put it there, I wouldn't blame you. But I think I'm fine with putting it in the functional category. Hey, no problem, Scott. I'll leave a comment if you watch it later and let me know. Banner of Kinship. Yeah, exactly. It's like, why would you run this over Banner of Kinship until Banner leaves Standard, I guess. Call the Skybreaker. Spell card. I still don't even... I've yet to remember what that symbol is. Skybreaker token. If somebody could tell me what the Skybreaker token does, because I don't know. I don't own this card, and I never bothered to look at what it does. So I'll just move this out of the way for now. We'll put them off to the side until we get an answer on that. This one, Gleam or Die. Spell card, 6 mana. Each creature you control gains the Changeling subtype. So that's a permanent status effect, right? Yeah. So it's like having Omo. And if you like Omo, but you don't necessarily want to run her because you have other ideas for creatures, this is excellent for token decks. Or not even token decks, but just anything that... things that rely on a specific subtype to trigger. For example, you play this and not Scurry Gremlins, Midnight Mayhem. All your creatures are gremlins because they're all changelings. So your creatures all get haste and lifelink, and I want to say menace as well. So this card is a really cool piece for to pair with other cards if you get creative. So the Johnny in me really enjoys this kind of card, and yeah, I think it's a better card than people may realize at the first glance. This is a shenanigans card. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, you and me, Kilroy, we're both cut from the same cloth, so we like those shenanigans. Cream of the Crop. Okay. 10 mana, support card enchantment. When a non-token creature enters the battlefield on your control, fetch the first creature with power X or less from your library. X is a support shield. Oh, man. If it had more shields, this card would be super good if you had a way to pump this guy's shields up a lot more. You could do it with Kasmina, a couple other things. But I'm trying to think, what's a good way to raise this card's shield? I think this is probably going to be best in a Kasmina deck. It has so much cool potential, but I think the fact that it relies on support shields like that so heavily to get anything out of it makes it a tough one to put in most decks. So for the potential alone, I'll put it in the rare use pile here. But I'm tempted to just say it's master and forget because I don't think a lot of people are going to try and jump through the requisite hoops to make that a really good card. Bright Glass option. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. I like the way you think, Kilroy. Mirror Sheen, 10 mana support card enchantment, red, blue. Activate 3 red or blue. Copy the first non-copy spell in your hand. It gains half its mana rounded up. That's pretty good for 10 mana. Dang, that's solid. And activating 3 red or blue is not going to be that hard. First non-copy spell card in your hand. So what if you just put like a Mystical Teachings or something in the first slot in your hand and leave it turned off, leave it muted, and then just whenever you want to copy and then just hit this and just copy whatever spell you want more of. Say you want a bunch of Temps, a bunch of Elderpays, anything like that. Just leave it muted in your hand and see how much you can activate. Because 6 activate gems is pretty good. I think that's not going to be that difficult to hit. This is really good. Putting in solid tier. I don't know if it's good enough to quite be meta, but I think that's a good card. Copy the any of those blight cards, something like the red spell. The one that deals a bunch of damage. That'd be a good one to chain. Oops. Yeah, Immolation. There you go. I was trying to remember that. I knew it started with a big word. Unstoppable Ash. 12 mana, 5/5. Tree Folk Warrior. Oh, it's a leader Tree Folk. I know there's not very many Tree Folk token generators, though, so we'll see how useful this card is. However, when a creature you control becomes blocked, that creature gets +0/+3. So there are some fun Tree Folk decks out there that I like to play around with here and there. Would this make the cut over some of my other Tree Folks? Maybe for fun. Um, Definitely gonna be like a tree folk kindred type of deck. Um, Probably just gonna be a rare use. I don't know if he's bringing enough to the table beyond just being a tree folk warrior that makes me think I want to really use him. But I don't know. I could be wrong about that. He doesn't block like some of the other tree folks out there, so that blocking is going to be limited to your other tree folk creatures. So rare use at best, but I'm also tempted to put him in the master and forget pile. What do you guys think? Is that okay to leave at rare use? Deathbringer Liege. 18 mana for a 3/4 horror. Okay, it's got the black white thing. So it actually is a 7/8. When you cast a spell card for the first time during your turn, if your planeswalker's color identity is exactly black and white, the last opposing creature gains imminent death. Interesting. That's a kind of a funny way to go through and remove creatures. I don't hate it. I think it's functional. Yeah. I don't know if I have a whole lot more to say than that. White and black spell slinging decks aren't necessarily a thing, but play that with Emperor Bones. You can make anything into a spell slinging deck with Emperor Bones. So if you want to build a Kaya Emperor Bones deck, maybe that's your play there. But either way, say you play like Tribute to Hunger or something. You kind of get a 2-for-1, right? Because you take out one of their creatures, and then if they have more than one, gives it imminent death. So yeah, I think that's a decent little card there. Changeling can make anything tree folk for prevent damage tree folk. That's a yep, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Those cards that rely on creature types to do really cool effects, like the elemental. What's it called? Massive Mysteries. That's a really fun one because you make everything into an elemental, and then you just reinforce them every time you attack. So yeah, there's all sorts of fun shenanigans. I really need to go through and try and make a funny deck out of that. Leaf Crowned Elder, 17 mana. Here's another tree folk shaman. It's 4/7, but it's got Defender instead of Reach. Kinship Tree Folk. The last card in your hand gains full mana. Ooh. So this is a good one to pair with your other tree folk. Dang. Okay. Now we're talking. Would a card like this make tree folk, would it push tree folk into a more meta viable strategy? It could. It's got Defender, but if you pair it with the tree folk card we're just talking about, what is his name? Geez, I'm trying to remember the name of, but it's a BFTA creature, so anybody can go get it if they run BFTA. I just don't think enough people are gonna play tree folk until, or at least anytime soon. But this definitely puts things into a nice push for tree folk. I can't, in good faith, put him into meta, but I really want to use him in a tree folk deck. I don't think I have him yet, unfortunately. Venge. Beginning of your turn, if there is a warrior card in your graveyard, this creature gains Berserker and First Strike until end of turn. Okay. Activate 2, this creature gets +3/+0. I wish it had Trample, but if you want to pair this with Massive Mysteries, for example, you do need to put them into your grave first. But if we're playing red, we can do things like Will of the Jeskai or the Red Command to discard our hand. Maybe you could play this with Jessica, which can discard her hand as well. I think it's kind of a cool card. There's a lot of there's a little bit of initial setup that kind of makes him not amazing. So I'll put him in the rare use. I don't hate him. You have ideas for which card? The Tree Folk or the Elemental? All right. The green black aura. Let's take a look at what that does. Gift of the Deity. 7 mana. Target creature gets +4/+4. The creature is black, gains Death Touch. The creature is green, it gains Berserker. Okay. I'm trying to think which cards have First Strike, Double Strike, something like that for black and green. This one is going to take a little bit of time for me to figure out where and what type of deck it would be good for. But I'm going to predict that it is probably going to be a Master and Forget. I'm not super impressed by these auras. You can make it case that it's rare use, but like there's nothing jumping out at me as like a obvious pairing for it. And I don't imagine a lot of people are going to try and go out of their way to make a good use for that one. I mean, the fact that it's an aura is probably its most appealing part of it, but that's not going to be enough for most people because most people aren't playing Calyx or something like that, or Youth Thrill or whatever his name was. Yeah, Preeminent Captain, 12 mana, Kithkin Soldier. It's got First Strike, so yeah, we can look at the auras that if that's relevant. That one that gets you Vigilance, so that could be cool. When this creature attacks, the first soldier creature in your hand gains half its mana rounded down. Okay. I'll have to look to see which are our best soldiers in Standard, but that's not bad. I wish I had a little bit more creature types that it would gain half the mana for, but I think you put it in the right deck. It's a functional creature. How many are we at now? 6, 9. 21. Okay, we're about a third of the way. See what I mean? No, it's going to be a long one. And how long have we been going? Oh, we've been going a half hour. So maybe we'll be done with this a little bit quicker than I expected. Hallowed Burial, 14 mana, spell card white, return all creatures to the bottom of its owner's library. Dang, that's a pretty rough removal there, because you're going to be bypassing a lot of things that you may or may not want to have happen. Like this is good anti-Aminatu, for example, because it's not going to their graveyard or their exile, so she can't pull them out very easily. Cool to run in a creatureless deck, like a Quintorius deck, maybe. You could even play this in Colors of Magic, even though it's 14 mana. But this is a good card. Is it meta? It might be. I could totally see people running this in coalition events. So yeah, we got our first possible meta card. Because I think it's going to be a really good removal to get around certain objectives. If it had flash, okay. I mean, sure. Rise of the Hobgoblins. 16 mana, 2 shields. It's got chroma red, and for some reason it has death touch. I don't know why. What does that mean? Like, does another support die if you destroy it? I don't know. Somebody tell me what the point of death touch is. I don't think anybody in the chat can. I'm just more throwing that out rhetorically. When the support enters the board, create X goblin tokens. X is equal to your chroma red. That's not bad. Beginning of combat your turn, your creatures gain goblin until the beginning of your next turn. But what can you really do with that? What things trigger on goblin? I guess Cranko. There's a couple of Cranko stuff, shenanigans you could do with that. I'm have to look into this more. But I like it. There are things I like about this card. But I think it's, again, going to be rare use, if not master and forget. What the hell is right? Yeah. All right. Pyrrhic Revival. 15 mana spell card. White and black. Return the first 3 creatures from each player's graveyard to play under its owner's control. Then all opposing creatures gain finality. That is shenanigans right there. So what would somebody want to do with this card? Well, for one, it's nice to bring back your own creatures. But for two, if you're running this against, or this could be a good way to hit your objectives, the creature destruction objectives, everyone's favorite. At least they're giving us more tools for it. This is a way to possibly hit that objective easier by bringing your opponent's creatures from the graveyard back into play. The only thing is you still need to mill their graveyard somehow first. But this is a cool card. All opposing creatures gain finality, so you get rid of them, and then they're in their exile, so they're not coming back. But it's definitely a double-edged sword, right? You don't know what they're going to bring back, and if they bring back a creature with some nasty ETB, that would suck. So you'd have to pair this with cards that maybe disable on ETB, like something like Blind Obedience, for example, so that you maybe don't get, the wrong end of the variance there. So I think this is a solid card. I think there's a lot of potential fun to be had with that card. It has some relevance in coalition events for creature destroy objectives, or just creature destroy objectives in general. So yeah, that's a solid card. I don't think it's going to be meta, because I don't think people are going to want to deal with the downsides of it as much. But it is a very cool card. Okay, Mind Spring, 8 mana spell card. Draw X cards. X is equal to the number of blue gems on the board. That's pretty good. For 8 mana, probably filling your hand most of the time. I think that's a good card. Solid card. Kind of the definition of solid. All right, what do we got here? Okay. Savage Conception. This feels kind of power creep. Savage Conception, 8 mana. Spell card, create 2 beast tokens. Beasts are 3/3s, if I remember correctly. So at worst, creates you a 6/6 token for 8 mana. But what I would really want to do is just put this in a Garruk deck, Garruk Unleashed, and then because it gives your creature's leader beast. So yeah, you just reinforce your first creature with leader twice for 8 mana. I think that's pretty good. I think it's rare use because I'm not going to use this anywhere besides Garruk. But I think it's a really good Garruk card. Garruk Unleashed card. To be specific. Let's see, where are we next? Alright. Okay, here's the red and white aura. Kilroy's favorite. Better not disappoint. 10 mana. Scourge of the Nobilis. Spell card or red and white. Target creature gets +4/+4. If this creature is red, it gains first strike. If the creature is white, it gains lifelink. Yeah, I'm sold. Gaining lifelink in white is awesome. It's been a while since we had one of these. Just like give your creatures lifelink if they're so yeah, there are a good amount of cards to throw this on. Throw it on Aurelia. Aurelia would be excellent because that makes her a 10/10 with first strike and lifelink. That also has the capacity to damage your opponent and gain life. This is just tailor made for Aurelia. But yeah, there are still plenty of good cards to throw that on. What's it called? Agris Cost, for example. Give him lifelink, a nice buff as well. Yeah, good call there, Roy. I knew you wouldn't let me down. Inundate, 20 mana spell card. Return each non-blue creature to their owner's hand. Interesting. I mean, obviously the downside to playing this card is you can't play it against a blue deck. However, most times you can plan for that. So this is definitely a sideboard card, right? But it is good. It is a nice board wipe. But I wouldn't. I mean, I guess if you don't have Deem Inferior, yeah, this card is actually maybe not that good when you compare it to other cards. I mean, yeah, what's it called? There's that the one from Origins that sends everything back to everyone's hand is similar to this, but I think it's way cheaper. 20 mana is kind of a lot for something that Deem Inferior does better. So I don't know. Yeah, probably a Master and Forget. I just think there are better options. It's not a bad card, but it's worse than a lot of other cards that you would rather use. All right, next. Spirit of the Hearth. 9 mana, 4/5 cat spirit. Not bad. Power and toughness to mana ratio. At the beginning of your turn, your Planeswalker gains hexproof until the beginning of your next turn. That's interesting. There aren't a lot of cards that you're worrying about that with, but I guess it's nice in certain instances that your Planeswalker is unable to be targeted that way. I don't know. In Standard, are we worrying about this too much, though? Probably not. I just don't think there's enough that makes you worry about that this is a solution to anyone's problem. I could, things could change and get some like nasty effect. Um, I mean, like that's stopping STA on your opponent's side, but that's very rare that you're worrying about that. So yeah, at very best, it's a rare use card, but it's such a rare use that I don't even think people will even think of it. But it's definitely like far from being a chase card. All right, so here's the red and blue aura. Clout of the Dominus, 8 mana. If this creature is... Okay, so we get the 4/4, obviously. Creature is blue, it gains hexproof. If this creature is red, it gains haste. I like red gaining haste, but until Song of Tauntauns is out of standard, then I don't know why you would run this instead of some other card that doesn't rely on haste, other than just a little buff. But I don't know. I'd rather have something that doesn't sit dead in my hand until I can use it. So, and it's also limited to red creatures. I don't really care about hexproof that much. So many people run untargeted removal that hexproof is not that relevant a lot of times. Maybe like against Prison Realm, or is it Prison Realm? Prison Term. Beyond that, it's okay. Yeah, this one's going to be probably Master and Forget. These auras so far have not been super impressive. The red and white one is good, but it's also not like mind-blowing either. Auntie Snitch. That Skybreaker spell. Oh, I still don't even know what this does. Do you? Are you talking about this one? Sorry. Move this out of the way. This one? Yeah. What is the Skybreaker token? I have no idea still. Goblin Rogue, 4/2 for 5 mana. Not bad. It's got Berserker, though, so it's probably going to die pretty quickly. Creature can't block. When a goblin or rogue creature deals combat damage to your opponent's planeswalker, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, okay. So it's actually kind of meant to die, right? I don't know. It's very mid. You're doing 4 damage to a creature, and it's probably dying. So come back and do 4 damage to a creature again. Yeah. Pretty boring. I don't really like it. Oh, okay. Thank you, Kilroy. Retrace. When you exile a land from your hand, if it's the first card with retrace in your graveyard, return it to your hand. Okay, that's weird. Makes a 10/10 token of flying elemental red blue. Okay. That's decent. But it is 20 mana, though. The only advantage of doing it this way is that something like Volt Strider will power it up without you having to think about it. So, yeah, you can make this into a hexproof with haste guy, which is cool with that card. I mean, I still don't really like that aura card, but at least there's some use for this guy. I'm not super amazed by this spell card either, but I guess it's functional. I mean, that's a kind of a lot. I think it's better than a Master and Forget. It doesn't have a great place to put it. Good cost spell for what's it called? For ill-timed explosion. Yeah, that's a good call there. Yeah, so if you're playing this like a spell heavy deck, that's kind of a cool creature to put on the board via spells. So there is some use to the guy. I think functional is a good place to put him actually. Okay. See, this is why I like the feedback, the real time feedback. You guys have better ideas sometimes. Umbra Stalker, 20 mana for a 1/1 elemental with Chroma. Beginning of combat, your turn, this creature is plus X plus X. X is equal to your Chroma black. So, yeah, this is going to be a card that you put into something like the Ashling or Liliana, Valiana, even maybe. 20 mana for a 1/1 that's going to take some time to build up is not a very efficient use of your resources, I don't think. However, if you do want to play this guy just for fun, I can kind of see that happening. But no, I think that being 20 mana is way too steep for something that if it were like 8 mana, I would play it just for fun, really. I need my creatures to do more than just that. It's a little bit slow of a growth rate. Slither Muse, Elemental, 3/3 for 10 mana. When this creature leaves the battlefield, Clash. If you win, the first card in your hand gains full mana. Clash with 10? Is that what the Clash is triggering off of? Um, the effect is strong, and it's I guess depends on what type of deck you're going against, how often you're going to hit that. And it's when it leaves the battlefield. So there are a couple things you can do to make it so that your creature can come back to your hand into play. Something like a Abuelo. It's kind of a gamble. It's like a not as good Archmage in you, kind of. And you have to jump through more hoops. I think it's worse than a functional card. I don't even think it's a rare use card. I think it's probably going to be a master and forget. I think the effect is pretty strong, but I don't think it's going to be reliable enough to hit very often. So unfortunately, I just don't see this card as being worth playing for the most part. Venser, oh, with the third ability. Yeah, see, I don't even like playing Venser's third ability, so that's not going to get me to use it. Another spell card, Rekindled Flame, 10 mana. Deal 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. At the beginning of your turn, if your opponent has no cards in hand, this card is in your graveyard. Return this card from your graveyard to your hand. If your opponent has no cards in hand at the beginning of your turn, I mean, how often is that going to happen? Yeah, even that, the 10 mana cost for dealing 5 damage is not really the best mana to cost ratio or cost to damage ratio, and that trigger is probably not going to happen that often. So this one's going to be a master and forget for me. Sigil Tracer, 18 mana, 2/2 Merfolk Wizard. When you cast a non-copy spell card for the first time during your turn, create a copy of that card in your hand. That copy gains full mana. Ooh, okay. So we're getting some full mana stuff. Cast a spell. Yeah, this is a cool card. I would pair this with some of those red creatures that copy spells and do all that stuff. Because you can double up on spells. Because those creatures, the red ones I'm thinking of, I don't think they matter so much if they're copies or not. They might actually. I'll have to look at that again. But either way, this is a strong card. It's a 2/2, so the spells are going to be doing the heavy lifting, right? Be a fun one to pair with Ill-Timed Explosion, for example. This is a solid card. Maybe it's meta. Is it meta? Full mana or doubling up on a spell you cast is really cool. It's 2/2 for 18 though, but you're not really playing it for the power, right? You're playing it to double up spell. I think that might be a meta. That's one of the better rares I've seen in a while, I think. In these sets, I mean. Double Wish, double Mirror Form. Do you play Mirror Form? I've yet to play it. I haven't found really a good reason to use it. Primal Crux, 8 mana, 1/1. Elemental, Chroma Green, 1/1 with Trample. At the beginning of your turn, this creature gets +X/+X. X is equal to your Chroma Green. See, this was an 8. This should have been the black as well. I don't care if they would have just copied this same card and made it chrome and black, and made a black creature. Because this is way better that way. Yeah, being an 8 instead of a 20, it's like, come on. That's way better. Yeah, it's great for copying all of your sports that have ETB like Sagas or Banner. Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe I should have been thinking about it more. Maybe it's that one. Maybe that's how we get the shield count up on that one green dude, the green elemental support we looked at in the beginning. I knew I was missing something with that card. I knew it's not a bad card. I just didn't have a good reason for it, but that makes a lot of sense. I didn't even think of Sagas, but there you go. Talar's Battalion, 4 mana for a 4/3 elf warrior. When this creature enters the battlefield, this creature gets +X/+X. X is the number of cards cast this turn. I mean, it's very rare they're gonna. I mean, if you're gonna put this in a spell loop deck, that's how you're gonna get much out of him. And this guy is definitely not like a spell loop kind of guy. You just put it in a deck like that, and I don't know. This seems like there's not a great reason to use it. At least it's a 4 mana for a 4/3. If this is the first card you cast, it just comes in as a 5/4 for 4 mana. So I mean, it's good cost to power ratio. So for that alone, it's a decent enough card. It's an elf, so you could use it for like kindred stuff there too. So yeah, why not? He's functional just because I like his cost. Makes casting support objectives easier. It does. I don't usually have a problem with that myself because I run a lot of supports. So I'm not. That's not usually the most difficult objective, but totally I could see that. Release the Ants for 5 mana spell card. Deal 4 damage to target creature, planeswalker. Clash if you win. Create a copy of this card in your hand, then shuffle your library. Shuffling our library. Do we care about that very much? Probably not. I guess if you're running a lot of library destruction and you're pulling a lot of the same cards out of your deck, then shuffling your library makes more sense. But if not, that's very niche. So yeah, I don't know. This card, I think it basically sucks. Okay, Kinsbale Border Guard, 8 mana, 1/1. When this creature enters the battlefield, this creature gets +X/+X. X is equal to the number of Kithkin cards you control, including their reinforcements. Okay. When this creature dies, the first other Kithkin creature you control gets +X or +Y/+Y. Y is equal to this creature's power. It's all right. If you're playing Kithkins, then it makes sense. If you're not, I mean, you would never play this card. It's functional. If you're playing Kithkin and there's hardly a reason to do so unless you just really like them, then this is a functional card in a deck like that. It's fine. What else do we got here? Feud Killer's Verdict. 12 mana. Spell card Giant. It's got Kindred Giant. Gain 15 life. Then have more life than your opponent. Create a giant token. Okay. Easy way to gain a bunch of life. This would have been a better card if Temp with Bunnies and Starseer Mentor were never nerfed. 15 mana is a decent, or 15 life is a decent amount of life to gain back, though. Then creating a giant token is probably going to be like a 4/4 or 5/5 or something like that. It's an okay card. It's functional. 15 mana is not insignificant. It's not, usually the difference between life and death, though it might be sometimes. It's definitely not nothing. Mind Rack Liege. Horror. 13 mana. 4/4. So that's really an 8/8 for 13 mana. It's actually pretty good. Activate 2 blue or red. Gain 10 mana. Oh, wow. That's actually pretty good. So 4 chances to gain 10 mana. Damn. That's a lot. This is an obvious pairing with Rings of Bright Earth or 1,000 Year Elixir. Wow. That's really good. We like that. Damn. This one definitely has. It's an 8/8 basically for 13 mana, and it can gain you tons of mana. So yeah, that's meta. People should be playing this card if you have the right things to pair with it. That's a good one. I definitely want to pull that one. Cold-Eyed Selkie, 10 mana, Merfolk Rogue. It's blue and green, so you can throw that aura on him. Landfall Blue, this creature gains unblockable until end of turn. a little more relevant than you think. When this, especially if those tree folk decks start coming out, when this creature deals combat damage to your opponent's planeswalker, draw that many cards. What are you talking about? Draw what? How many cards? I'm guessing it's equal to the damage dealt, but anyone have this card and know what the hell it's supposed to be saying? Yeah, it's pretty meh. If that's what it is, you need a way to buff it so that's actually doing something more for that. But it's not a bad card necessarily. I just don't think it's bringing enough to the table to make it more than a master and forget. Okay, Fen Deep Summoner. Tree Folk Shaman. Okay, it's a Tree Folk in black. With Defender 3/5, activate 3 black, create a Tree Folk token. Okay, so this is the way you get the Tree Folk tokens for that Tree Folk leader. Pair this with the Protector, Timber Protector. That's his name. Pair this with Timber Protector so that it doesn't die right away. Trying to think if there's a Death Touch First Strike in Standard right now. I don't know if there is one, but yeah, not a bad card. Functional, I'll say. The Tree Folks are I think 3/4s that it creates. So in the right deck, this is probably a solid card, but yeah, I think it's a solid card actually. I like it. Maybe I like it more than I should, but I like it. Where are we at? Okay. I don't know why I thought of this. Maybe because it's a red and white creature, but the Nobilis creature is actually pretty good. I was playing around with it with a couple of decks. I was actually surprised how much I liked it. Okay, Balefire Liege. I like the art on this guy. 11 mana Spirit Horror. While this creature on the battlefield, your white creature get... Okay, so it's got the white and red. So it's really a 6/8. When you cast your first spell on each turn, or on your turn, your planeswalker's color identity is exactly white and red. Deal 3 damage to your opponent's planeswalker and gain 3 life. That's probably not really enough to make a big difference. It's okay. Yeah, no, this is just kind of... it's very much like a kind of a cookie cutter mediocre rare, where it brings just enough to the table not to be like straight up bad, but it's definitely not bringing enough to make it like, oh, gotta find a way to put this in my deck. Wandering Greybeard. 14 mana for a 4/4 giant wizard with vigilance. Kinship giant. Reinforce this creature, then gain 10 life. Okay. So you play some giant cards. This guy gets bigger and bigger, gaining life as you go. This is kind of like a worse version of the giant guy that we got a couple of sets ago. It's a little less expensive, but I think it's like a matter of like 3 or 4 mana. So I'd much rather play that other card. However, if you're playing a giant deck, this is not a bad one to throw in there. I think it's going to be a rare use. Definitely seen some worse creatures from this set. Vraska. Yeah. But no, I'm saying like a spell or something that gives creatures death touch and first strike. Okay, Sapling of Kolfener. I actually played this one a little bit in my Tree Folk deck because I didn't have the other cooler Tree Folk that I actually want to try. So I was giving this one a shot. 18 mana for a 2/5 with prevent damage. When this creature attacks, fetch the first card from your library. If it's a creature card, gain life equal to its toughness. If it's not a creature, move that card to the top of your library. So the main use that I got out of this card was just filtering through my deck for creatures. So if you have creature-based objectives or creature-based just whatever strategies you're running, then this card can help a little bit, but it's really not doing a whole lot for you. Because if it's not a creature, then you have to, then you're pulling it your next turn anyway. So unless it's a creature it grabs, then things are just going as usual. So it's a weird way to filter through your deck and not necessarily that efficient. Honestly, it's probably just going to be a master and forget. For me, it is. Its effect is a little wonky, and I just don't think it did enough for me to really find it all that useful. So, yeah. All right, what else we got here? Scarblade Elite. 8 mana, 2/2 Elf Assassin. Activate 2, exile the first creature card from your graveyard, and destroy the first opposing creature. That's interesting. Do we want to do that? I think in the right decks, you can pull things from your exile into play. So I guess there's that reason. It's probably a little bit too many hoops to jump through to make this worth playing in most decks. I like the effect, but yeah, it's going to be pretty unreliable. Hate to say it. Fits in a Kalemne giant. Oh, yeah. I forget. She's like a giant. Next one is... Oh, this is... I can already see it's a Tree Folk spell. So that's good with our Kindred Tree Folk creature. Reach of Branches. Spell card Tree Folk, Kindred Tree Folk. Create 2 Tree Folk tokens. Yeah. I mean, this fits in that specific deck. So, but I think it's still useful even not in a Tree Folk deck necessarily. If you just want to run tokens, these are not the worst tokens to run. So, yeah, I'll just go ahead and put them in the functional category. Why not? Best in a Tree Folk deck, but I think it has utility outside of strictly Tree Folk decks. All right, what do we got here? Ward of Bones. Support card artifact, 14 mana, 3 shields. When this support enters the board, increase the mana cost of each creature in your opponent's hand by 10 for each creature he controls more than you. Okay. It's already kind of a lot of hoops to jump through. Weird hoops. When support is destroyed, increase the mana of each support on your opponent's hand by 10 for each non-token support he controls more than you. So it's meant to stop more things from happening. It's not doing a whole lot for you otherwise. Yeah, I think that this card is just a little too reliant on things going perfectly for them to be that useful. I think the mana cost is permanent at least. But you're going to be in a weird situation where this is useful. I think it's a little too reliant on things just lining up in a very specific way to get a lot of utility out of it. Like if you're behind, your opponent's got all of these creatures and supports on the board, that's not really going to do much to help you recover. It might stall a bit for things to get worse, but that's not really the best way to play this game defensively. You want to get rid of their threats, not just like slow them down a little bit. Bold Wire Heavyweights. 16 mana, 8/8 giant warrior with trample. Okay. When this creature enters the battlefield, put the first creature from each player's library into play. Oh, wow. This effect can trigger only once per turn. So that's a gamble, right? You never know what sort of ETB you might get hit with. It's a dangerous one to play, I gotta say. Sounds kind of fun, but could get in trouble. I don't think a lot of people are going to like playing this card, but I think certain players are going to have some fun with it. I mean, I'm going to be a Master and Forget guy, but you might like this card more than me. It would be fun to play against a deck is going mostly creatureless or all creatureless. Except the problem is you just don't know that. Okay. Waves of Aggression, 18 mana. Reinforce each creature you control 2 times until end of turn. For 18 mana, it's kind of a lot for just a temporary effect. But it is one of those things where if there's something that when they lose reinforcements, you get something out of it, that's cool. Triggering on reinforcement things is also cool. Would be good for the Ashling. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't 18 mana, I think it'd be a much better card. But I don't hate it. I think there are some good things you can do with it. Reinforcing creatures, I don't know. Maybe it's better than just rare use. If you play this with the right creatures, reinforcing them twice, reinforcing all your creatures twice can be pretty strong. Yeah, functional. I like it. There are lots of ETB and destroying. Exactly. What if you were to grab like your opponent's Olamog out of their library? Then you're screwed. Endless Horizons, 13 mana, 3 shield, support card, artifact, or enchantment, sorry. When this support enters the board, fetch the first 4 land cards from your library, exile those cards. At the beginning of your turn, return the first land card from your exile to your hand. That card gains 10 mana. This is kind of like a weaker white Omen Path Journey. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, Omen Path Journey is such a good card. This does kind of the same thing, except not as good. So just due to just that we can compare it to Omen Path Journey means that it's a pretty good card. Put it in functional. I don't know if everybody will love this card, but if you like to play with lands, I think this is a good card for you. With it being mono white is kind of interesting. Because Omen Path Journey is mono green. And that seems like a more of a green effect. Lands aren't necessarily the domain of white. Great Bow Doyen, 14 mana. I actually kind of like this card. I played it a little bit. Reach 2/4. While this creature is on the battlefield, your archer creatures get +2/+2. It is an archer, so it's actually a 4/6. When an archer creature you control deals combat damage to a creature, deal that much damage to the opposing planeswalker. So, when it blocks, it deals combat damage. So it's fun to make your opponents bash into this guy and take damage similar to Phyrexian Vindicator would. The only problem is you need to give this guy prevent damage. And you can do that with something like Vigor. That would be a fun one to. And then it's Archer. Maybe you can throw Changeling onto all these guys and make all your creatures archers. So that would be a fun way to get them to block and deal damage back. This is a fun card. It's not that strong. The effect is fun when you can get it to go off. So it's going to be, yeah, functional. Okay. Wow, we're getting close to finish here, actually. We have 8 left in my list here to look at. Fable of Wolf and Owl. I do have this card. I maybe played a little bit. Green, blue, enchantment, 3 shields, 16 mana. When you cast a green spell, create a wolf token. This effect can trigger up to 5 times per turn. When you cast a blue spell, create a bird token. This effect can trigger up to 5 times per turn. So, cool way to make tokens. A lot of things that you can do with that. Satoru, very good card for Satoru. If you don't have Thopters. Well, even if you do have Thopter Fabricator, this could be a good card to double up on your token generation and get that much more function out of it. But either way, Satoru and this seems cool. But even if you're not playing this with Satoru and you're just playing this for spells, it's kind of a fun card. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a functional card. Where are we at now? Okay. That's such a weird art. Stench Skipper, 9 mana, 6/5, creature elemental with flying. At beginning, that thing flies? How does that guy get to fly and there's like tree folk that don't have reach? At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control a goblin creature, reinforce this creature. Okay. Otherwise, the creature gains imminent death until end of turn. Oh, weird. So that's why the cost to power ratio is good. And then I don't know. It dies on its own. So there is that thing that triggers when it dies. So the fact that it kind of synergizes with a few things out there, and it's got like a synergy with goblins. I'm gonna put this in rare use, just because its cost to power ratio is pretty good too. I don't think it's that great of a card, but I can see somebody doing funky things with it. Okay, what's next here? Springjack Pasture. 9 mana, 4 shield, support card, land. At the beginning of your turn, gain 3 mana. Okay. Activate 3. Create a goat token. When a goat creature dies, gain 3 mana. Oh, I kind of get it. Like you're sacrificing a goat. You're the sacrificial goat. So you're gaining 3 mana when you sacrifice that goat. yeah, if you want to throw imminent death or whatever onto a creature like that, maybe with Doomgape, that might be a fun way to use Doomgape. So this is a functional card just because it's a land that gives you 3 mana return, but it's also doing a lot of fun little things for you. Um, yeah, solid card. I think I'm going to put it in the solid category. It's not amazing, but I like it. Make those tokens changeling and then reinforce that leader up to 10 times a turn. See, I love the way you think, Kilroy. That's exactly the type of thing that sounds awesome. And I probably wouldn't have thought about it, but it would have taken me a way longer time to get there, though, if I had thought of it. So yeah, kudos to you. Scarecrow artifact Scarecrow, 10 mana, 2/3, colorless. When another Scarecrow creature you control dies, draw a card. Then, if you have 6 cards in your hand, return the first artifact creature from your graveyard to play under your control. But another Scarecrow has to die. So it's likely that you're playing other artifact Scarecrows. I was thinking that like there are some cool artifact creatures that can bring into play. Problem is, it has to be a Scarecrow creature that dies, and it has to be another one. So that's really limiting the options you have in a deck to get some really cool artifact creatures into play. I don't think there are that many great artifact Scarecrow creatures, so this is going to be a master and forget for me. Final four. Evershrike. Elemental Spirit, 10 mana for 2/2. When you cast an aura card, this creature gets 2/2. Okay. All right. There's a reason to run auras, I guess. When this creature dies, activate 3 turn white. Okay, that's interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen that. A creature dies and creates 3 turns. Exile the first aura card from your graveyard and then return this creature to the battlefield under your control and reinforce it. That's kind of cool. The fact that it's only a 2/2 kind of sucks, but you're casting a lot of auras. It's a fun card, but I can't really see it doing a whole lot in the meta. It's going to be a Daxos creature, but you're probably going to run different creatures than Daxos or for Daxos, right? This would kind of just be a for fun card. A little bit better than Master and Forget, but it is that type of card for me personally. All right, here's the black and white aura. So what do we get when we cast this on our cool new creature there? 10 mana, white, black aura. Okay, so we're giving them Vigilance, Lifelink, and +4/+4. And it's an aura, so it's getting a +2/+2. So pairing these two creatures together, what do we get? So it becomes a 6/6 and then an 8/8 with Vigilance and Lifelink and Flying for 20 mana. That's okay. 2 cards, 20 mana to get that. That's why it's just kind of like, yeah, spend 20 mana and you probably want other things. But this one's a functional one for sure. This one's going to be worth using in a few different situations. All right. Second to last one. Support card land. Rustic Klatchan? Klatchan? I'll go with Klatchan. Never heard of that word. 8 mana, 3, support card land, colorless. Beginning of your turn, convert 3 gems to white. When this card is discarded, your first creature gets +1/+1. Is there a whole land cycle of these cards? Because I don't think I downloaded them actually. Oh wow, am I missing some cards here? I'm gonna assume that there's a whole cycle of these for one for each color. Yeah, functional. 3 gems to one color for 8 mana is actually pretty good. That's better than just functional. That's solid. That's pretty good cost to utility ratio. Mate, Aura, Elspeth, good again. Oh, was she ever good? Are these all from the 2 sets? 1 or 2 sets? I just grabbed whatever was in the Facebook group. If they didn't add everything to it, then that's their fault. But yeah, these are supposedly from both sets. Am I still alive? Yes. Close to done, but yes. I didn't know you went away for a while, but I guess you were watching the softball game. Redeem the loss, 5 mana. Target creature you control gains protection from opponent's planeswalker's colors until the beginning of your next turn. Whatever. Clash, if you win, return this card to your hand. Yeah, that effect is not amazing. The Clash, you have to win with 5 just to get it back to your hand. It should be full mana for a Clash that you're most likely not going to win. So definitely Master and Forget. All right, so a pretty good amount of Master and Forgets this round. So not the greatest overall round of rares. This set go around kind of sucks, but there are some good ones. Good amount of functional, which means I'll probably get to playing a lot of them. Good handful of solid ones as well. We like seeing that. And then what were the meta ones? Let's see what see if we still agree with where we put these here. Hallowed Burial, return all creatures to the bottom of its owner's library. Yeah, the reason I put that there is because it has good utility for coalition events. And then, okay, this guy again. Oh, is it Sigil Tracer? Cast a non-copy spell card and copy it and give it full mana. So yeah, doubling up on spells. That's great. And then our creature that's going to be an 8/8 for 13 mana and activate, and then you gain 10 mana from 4 activate gems. God, I'm tempted to actually put this one step above. This might be a god tier rare. That's really good. Yeah, okay, so let us compare where we're at with, is this the last time I did rares? Back in the Lorwyn set. One meta creature. What was this? Shriekmaw? Oh, yeah. This turned out to be meta because I do see it in Colors of Magic. So, yeah, there you go. Our one card we ever see from Lorwyn. I bet that's not even true. I bet if we went through and looked at some of these other rares, they might actually be better. Yeah, I like this guy, Arbiter of Norridge. He's solid. He's a good card. He probably deserves to be meta. He just never became one. I never see people play this one. Leader, Shapeshifter, Elemental. He's strong though. I think he deserves to be solid. This guy's cool, actually. I just started using him because I saw somebody else play him. I didn't even know he existed, really. Even though I forgot he existed, I should say then. But activate 5 green, reinforce each elf creature you control. It's really easy to hit at least 2 of these per turn. So I like him. I was using him with. You can throw that changeling spell on in a deck with that guy, and you're going to be reinforcing all your creatures up to 5 times. So that is some good synergy there. That card should be probably used more, but I think people are just looking at it a little too close-minded. This card, Snettlevine Blight, is really good. I think I'm going to move this one up to meta. You see it sometimes. I think people don't love the losing shield. But you put that and Undercity Plague in your deck, and you're getting rid of most of threats every time. Oblivion Right, or Ring, I don't even remember what this does. When support enters board, exile random opposing creature. Oh, okay, yeah. It's a bind emblem card. Okay, so it's just a bind emblem card. Okay. Yeah, those are solid. Pull in Lullaby. Disable your opponent's creatures until end of turn. Then Clash if you win. Yeah, this is a good card. I forgot it existed. There's just too many cards being pumped out at a rate that's kind of insane. So good cards are just being forgotten just because there's just too many of them. But yeah, that card should be being used more. Yeah, there you have it. MEV rares. Okay, let's look at chat. There was some chat I didn't get to. Clash for 5 EU, exactly. I think that 14 mana colors artifact could make Colors of Magic even worse. Oh, sure. I've seen that our Arbiter of Knowledge in play. Yeah. If Kaivar was green black would be nice. Kaivar. Who's Kaivar? Are you talking about Tyvar? There's better exile support out there than that one. Are you talking about the Bind Emblem one? Yeah, all right. Well, there we have it. Those are our chase rares. Are we all pretty much in agreement there? Did I make that card? Did I rate this one too high, or do you think it's as good as it sounds to me? I mean, just because it's a meta card doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to play it, but I do think they are cards that I predict having an impact on the meta because you will see them played and people will get good use out of them. The Bind one. Yeah, I mean, there's like Perilous Snare. I think there's another one that's a little bit cheaper or the same price. But yeah, they're okay. The Bind Emblem cards are okay. All right. How long have I been going here? Hour and a half. Okay, that's about what I was hoping for it to be. So cool. The merfolk duping a spell full mana turns wonderful sounding, LOL, and scary. Yeah, so that's meta. I think that's rated where it should be. I personally think the God tier one card is even better than that one, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, so next time I get a chance, I want to do some play. I'll showcase some playing of Ashling and Sapling of Kolfener. Both pretty solid planeswalkers. I personally like Ashling more, but I think they're both worth taking a look at and let you decide if you like them enough to pick up or not. None of them are are at the top of their color pie, but you know, they might be intriguing enough for you to want to take for a spin for gold if you're at that point. So hopefully I can do that sometime this week. Might be a little busy toward the end of the week. So if I can get a few things done in time, then I'm thinking maybe Wednesday I can do that. Don't hold me to that. I don't know why I'm making promises, but I'll do my best. All right. So yeah, thanks again for hanging out, everybody. Kilroy, Doran, Scott, if you're still around, and anybody else who's just hanging out to not necessarily chat, but just what you guys are here for is just my opinions and thoughts and maybe some ideas. Appreciate you spending the time here with me. It's actually kind of amazing every time that people care enough to hear what I have to say about this stupid little game. But you guys are great. Love all the ideas you give me. As always, feel free to comment with any other ideas that you guys want to put out there for me and the rest of the community. And yep, I will see you next time I see ya.